Okay, so here's an interesting one. This is on my 1993 F Super Duty, and just finished up an upgrade. So I got these Marine three-way manual valves, fuel valves. I think it always says in the box 3/8 NBT. So rather large fittings, but I was able to make it work. Got outlet, inlets. At least that's how I have it run. So I can show you down here. And this is because the old electronic manual valve, or not manual valve, the tank switching valve stopped working. So I had it just running off the rear tank for a while, but I'm tired of only having 20 gallons of fuel. So this is better than nothing. Eventually maybe I'll somehow rig it up to have some kind of cable or shaft or system that I can control from the cab, but for right now it's nice to at least have a backup tank that I can still use. The front sending unit does not work, so when I switch that button up in the cab, it should read the front tank level, but it doesn't, just reads empty, so I'm gonna have to go off of mileage for that one. But it'll be more of like a reserve tank than anything else. But anyways, obviously here's the two valves. Not quite enough room in this frame rail to have them right on top of each other, so I had to offset them like this. I have these rubber, like, grommets. Not really grommets, almost like a rubber washer. It came off of a Ford 6.0 diesel engine, like, valve covers. They have one of those for each bolt, I guess, to minimize vibration, maybe so the bolt doesn't loosen up on you for the valve covers. Anyways, I'm using them, same purpose on here, so then the brass fittings and stuff aren't taking so much vibration that they can it's kind of hard to see, but they can flex and stuff. I'm sure this paint marker isn't gonna last forever, but it's just helpful for now. So I like A and B designation. So A is the front tank, B is the rear tank, and then X is off. And the arrow is just helpful for me to, it's supposed to signify this, the pointer on the valve. So right now it's selected for the rear tank. I actually have to take this to the gas station, put some fuel in the front tank, because I siphoned it all out when I switched to only running the rear tank. It was over a year ago at this point, because I didn't want to have 20 gallons of unused fuel sitting in the front tank. So it's basically empty. I gotta put more fuel in it before I can actually properly test this, which I'll get back to you guys on that. But so this is the supply. I have it engraved, kind of, not really engraved, but I used a knife to etch into the brass S right there. You can kind of see my paint marker there for that. So these are the supply lines. The top ones are for the front tank. The bottom ones are for the rear tank. So this is the supply line for the front tank. And right now it's in the off position, so it's just sitting there against the ball valve. This is the rear tank supply line, and its ball valve's open, and then open here too, so it's going out to the following the fuel line all the way up to my lift pump, my electric lift pump, which is in the engine bay. But yeah, so that's the supply lines, and these are all 3/8 fittings, including the barbs are all 3/8 too, except for one. I didn't catch it, unfortunately, at the hardware store, but this one here is a 1/4 inch, but it's a return line, so I don't think it'll be a huge problem. I'm hoping it isn't anyways. Worst case scenario, that is for the front tank. So that's the one I'm not going to be using very often, so I can switch it out eventually if I need to with a 3/8 one, but we'll see. I don't think it'll be an issue though. So that was a little bit annoying. I got home after going to the hardware store, and then I was looking at it more closely, like, wait, that's not a 3/8 inch, that's a 1/4 inch. I'm pretty sure it's a 1/4 inch anyways, but yeah, so that was a little bit annoying. So I didn't have enough room to run these supply hoses behind this bracket I made, so they're obviously wrapped around the front. I have conduit down there to prevent them from rubbing through, at least not rubbing through as fast. Let's see if I can get this in here. So there's the, anyways, there's the hoses for the return lines. Once again, return line for the front tank, return line for the rear tank. It's once again selected for the rear tank, so it's going through here down to the rear tank. And obviously just want to switch these at the same time so I'm not using all the fuel out of the front tank and then pumping it all into the rear tank, because then I'd overflow the rear tank, or vice versa. And like I said, if I wanted to, I could turn it 180 degrees, have the pointer up here, and then it would be completely off. Wouldn't have fuel at all. I guess maybe that'd be a good anti-theft. Thankfully, I don't live in an area where I really have to worry about that, but yeah, it could be something that a person could do. Bracket, just some random steel that I had laying around. It actually, it's like steel I've been slowly using that came out of a toolbox that I got a while ago, and I cut it up because it was not needed. So I just had it one straight line, and then I bent these ends, and there are holes in the frame rail. There's one there, and then one down, anyways, down here for that bolt. They're offset. Thankfully, I didn't really catch that until after the bracket was made. Thankfully, it was wide enough that I could get the bolts in there still. But it's pretty sturdy. It's not going anywhere, especially because the way I have it cut, it kind of is like clamped against the frame rail anyways. But those bolts are definitely holding in place. Have the same thing going on with the grommets on this top valve here. They're just, I mounted it behind this plate, so they're right there. So I could have enough space between these two so they don't get in the way of each other. I used PTFE sealant, like the liquid, I can't remember, like I think it's called like pipe dope, but it's like a liquid pipe thread sealer. Anyways, yeah, I use that on all the threads, tightened them up really good. I really hope that nothing leaks. That'd be awesome. I just really hope this works, but you guys will hear about that in a bit when I test it out. I'm pretty sure if you're seeing any fuel or dampness on these, it's because I made a big mess when I was doing it, because cutting the mainly it was cutting the supply line from the rear tank, and that went straight to the engine. That was just pouring fuel out of it due to the just how that goes. I don't want to sound like an idiot, but I do think that it's due to like a vacuum effect kind of thing, where it I'm not going to try to explain it too much, but needless to say, I've had these lines apart before, the supply lines apart before. I used to mess with this old thing in the past, and it would not ever stop coming out of supply lines, even though you'd think that all the stuff at the top of the line would have drained out. It had to be drawing it out of the tank just because of the for lack of better terms, vacuum effect. I think would be the same reason that when you put an air hose at the end of a hose that's inside a tank, and you blow the air out of the hose, and it'll draw the fluid up the tank and out the hose with it because it pulls a vacuum on it. So anyways, yeah, we'll see if this leaks. I'll let you guys know. This one's actually a hydraulic line. Not leaking though. Here's my aftermarket gauges. Anyways, so yeah, works. Doesn't seem to be leaking so far, which is awesome. You want to switch those valves one after the other, obviously. I think I explained that already. I remember another reason why I hated filling up and using this front tank is because it actually would be the same problem with the other one, but I'll show you in a second why it's not. I think these are for a gas engine because the diesel nozzles never fit in there. So it takes forever to fill up. I don't know if that's just because it just can't get down there far enough to... I don't know how these work, to be honest with you, if they have to reach past a certain point before it will accept fuel at a fast rate. Right now, you have to go at a snail's pace because otherwise it'll overflow out of it. And before you say anything, no, the vent valve is not plugged. So, yeah, I need to replace these eventually, I think. I just completely forgot about that because it's been over a year since I've actually used this front tank. So, the reason this one works decently because somebody used a hammer or something and pounded the crap out of that so that you can actually fit the nozzles in there. If I jam it all the way in there and try to click the trigger on the detent, it will still overflow. So I have to hold it farther out and just hold the trigger down like halfway. Still faster in the front tank though by a long shot. So least I have a reserve tank, though. I'll just have to slowly, in increments, fill this all the way up with like a 5 gallon jerry can, because it would just take forever at the pump. I don't want to sit there for a long time, so I'll just have to keep on filling up the 5 gallon tank and then bring it back and fill it up with the funnel. But eventually it'll be full and I can use the reserve tank and still mainly just run off that rear tank. Because like I said, I'm not going to show you, but this switching button here only shows fuel level for the rear. When I switch to the front, it just immediately drops to E. So is what it is. Better than nothing.